Metagross Freak here, and chances are if you are either a high school or college student, you probably own at least one Nerf gun. And I actually have collected quite a few over my years to make a quick video to show you guys what I have and give my recommendations if you're in the market to finding a Nerf gun. I know that they, right now, Nerf is mostly doing their Zombie Strike and their Nerf Rebel lines, but some of these can actually still be bought online fairly cheaply if you're not able to find them in stores. First is a pistol that you've probably seen in a number of my videos, and that's the Maverick Rev 6. This was my first Nerf gun, and it remains to the day one of my favorite guns that I own. The term Rev 6 is the Nerf numerical code given to this gun, meaning that it's a revolver that holds 6 rounds. This was also used by a couple other guns, I believe like either the Spectre or the Semperfire. As you can see, it actually does have a revolving barrel that you can load 6 of these little plunger darts into, and it fires them really well. Every time you, as you can see, every time you pull the trigger, it revolves the barrel, which basically allows you, if you're able to go, if you're able to pump it, if you're not pump it, but if you're able to cock it fast enough, you can actually fire your 6 shots in fairly rapid succession. You can use actually these whistler darts, but sometimes it has jamming issues, and so I think it's best to just go with the plunger darts. You probably won't be able to find one in yellow anymore, but I do see occasionally these in either red or the dark blue. Maverick is a very reliable pistol. It's kind of bulky, and it's basically kind of a almost like a miniature shotgun rifle kind of thing, but it's very reliable, and it's my oldest Nerf gun, and it still has better performance than some of the other guns that I have. These next two blasters are actually just recolors of each other, and these are the Switch Shot EX3. The EX3 standing for the fact that they can hold 3 darts each, 1 in the firing mechanism and 2 in storage, and the EX standing for external firing system, as in it has a plunger on the back, which can be pulled back and fired. The actual plunger itself is pretty reliable, though the mechanism itself is kind of wobbly and makes a lot of noise, and that's because of the way it was designed. The Switch Shot is basically just kind of like a Firefly or a Night Finder, but without any special little light in the middle, and that's because of the way it was designed to fit a Wii remote. They actually came out with 2 games for the Wii, and then when Wii first came out in the year after, which was Nerf N-Strike and then Nerf N-Strike Elite. And by pressing this little orange button in the front of the blaster came down, and you could remove these little plungers, which, believe it or not, these actually do fire on their own. There's this little clip down here at the bottom, which if you stick a fingernail in, you can sometimes get it to go off. Though sometimes you might need like a paper clip or something. There we go, see? Yeah, these can actually fire independently, and I've actually seen a couple people duct tape these onto the sides of other Nerf guns to have little secondary backup blasters in case they run out of ammo. As you may notice, there's actually 2 little firing mechanisms. One is this little orange clip thing, which you can kind of see moving when I pull the trigger, and that's to activate this little firing mechanism. The other is this little piece up here, which was supposed to hit the B button on a Wii remote. And in the game, you fired, B was your trigger. It was actually kind of a fun game. I didn't play the original one, but I did play the sequel, N-Strike Elite, and even though it was an on-the-rails shooter and the 4 characters had very different styles of play, it was actually pretty fun, and I, had a great amount of time with my dad and 1 or 2 of my friends if they ever came over to play. Alright, so those are the Switch Shot EX3s. They're okay pistols, and they don't sell them separately, though. You do have to buy them with the N-Strike games, but if you're interested in the N-Strike games, it's definitely worth picking up, even as a novelty blaster to work on your aim. One weird thing, though, is it does have a tactical clip on the bottom, which is kind of weird because, tactical clip should be up near the top where the, where the firing mechanism is. So you can't use a scope. The light, if you have a tactical light, it is kind of at a weird angle because it's set a couple inches down, and you know you can't really have you can't only have one of like the barrel breaks open clip because darts could fall down. So it's kind of a weird place to put a tactical clip, and I actually think the gun would probably be better without it. The next up is probably my favorite of my Nerf guns, and that's my Barrel Break IX2. It, ironically enough, even has loading instructions on the side of the gun in case for some reason you forget, but it doesn't have it on the other side, which is kind of nice. Though it's obvious that it was designed for a right-handed person, that way if they go, wait, how do I load this again? Oh yeah, meanwhile, I'm a left-handed person, and so unless I hold it like this, which is very awkward, people can, you know, kind of see, if they get close enough to me, how I load my gun, which is bizarre. Anyway, the Barrel Break IX2, the IX standing for Internal Firing System, isn't like most guns where it has, isn't like most Nerf guns where it has an air pump or a plunger or a cocking mechanism like the previous two guns I showed. Instead, it has the cocking mechanism or air pump on the inside, which is actually kind of unique and interesting, and I'll explain how it works. It has two barrels, which also makes it a very low capacity, but this fires pretty well. It fires a good distance, and it fires very accurately. And so it's a very reliable blaster, plus just look at the size of it. It's a sawed-off shotgun, and it looks very reliable. It looks very cool. It's a very reliable gun. I would either, based on the guns I have, use this or my Maverick as my primary weapon, and have the other one be my secondary. It has a very nice belt clip here, so you can put it on your belt and just point it up, grab it from this side and hip fire, like literally hip fire, or you can just have it on a vest dangling and pull it off when you need it to. I don't know, based on the size of it, you've got this kind of gappiness here, but it makes it for a good handhold, and that's really cool. Interestingly enough, the barrels can fire independently or together depending on how you pull the actual trigger. The barrel actually has a little bit of a catch, and so if you just pull it slightly, you can fire one barrel, and if you pull it all the way, you fire the second barrel. Or if you just pull the barrel down all at once, it fires both barrels simultaneously, like this. As you heard it went click click. And that's because if you fire them simultaneously, I believe it's the right barrel actually fires about a fourth to half a second ahead of the other one. But it's kind of cool. To reload it, you have to pull down a trigger, which there's actually orange little triggers on both sides, but you only need to pull down one of them. As you may have noticed, the barrel pops out a little bit and slides to kind of full rifle length. And then, as its name implies, you break the barrel. And you can put in two, normal whistler tip things, whistler tip darts, and you put them in just kind of so on the edge of the dart is on the lip, and then you'd be able to, load both barrels and fire them out. I'm actually having an issue getting there we go, get the dart out. To close it back up, you push it down, it freely swings back into position, and you slide it in. And this sliding mechanism is what gets the air pump set. Went like this. Yeah, let's see if you can hear it. There, that click is not only at the barrels locking into place, but the clip getting ready to be fired. Because if I do this, as you see, you hear the plunger going again. And you don't have to reload it to get that action. You can just simply go, and then it's ready to fire again. So yeah, it's kind of neat. It's my largest blaster that I own, but it's very reliable. Because of its weird reverse plunger system, being that the air doesn't travel straight forward, it travels up and around. It doesn't get as much distance, but it's very reliable and very accurate. Another gun I've actually done in a separate video is the Fire Strike. The Fire Strike is actually, missing the EX3 on it because it's another plunger gun. But it's the first Nerf Elite gun I have, and so it fires these streamlined Elite darts. As you can see, they're a little bit thinner and a little bit longer, and here I'll compare it to a Whistler tip dart. As you can see, the blue darts are a little bit longer and a little bit thinner, and that lets them actually travel longer. So even my Fire Strike compared to the Switch Shot, this should go significantly farther and be more accurate. It had storage to put 2 darts below, though really one shot was all you needed because it can get a good distance. Interestingly enough, this was one of the few guns that I've seen that actually have 2 triggers. One is for the traditional gun, and the second one was for this light in the middle. This was a feature shared, I believe, with either the Night Finder or the Firefly. And also, strangely enough, because the batteries for the light were stored in the handle, has this little bit of a hook on it. I don't know why, but I guess that's to protect the hinge from the door or something. But it actually makes for a good little place to put your pinky, because putting it in front is just kind of awkward, but putting it behind is actually kind of comfortable. Or if you really want it to get kind of dark, you can use that as a bludgeoning, if you wanted to pistol whip someone, but if you're going to use the barrel, I'm not saying you should pistol whip someone. Anyone pistol whipped by taking my advice, I'm warning you, don't do it. But yeah, you could use it as a bludgeon if you had to, I guess. That would make you a bad person if you did. It was a really cool gun, but the second trigger underneath the first trigger actually turns on a light, which is a pretty bright light, though it's hard to see in lighter lit areas. Let me see if I can get it on the wall back here. I don't know if that's visible, but if you can see it, there's a small little red dot with a red circle around it, kind of like the Target logo. No, this wasn't a Target exclusive, by the way. But it was kind of cool because not only because of its orientation with the firing mechanism, it helped you aim, but it also acted as a miniature flashlight. So, night missions, yay! This is another really reliable gun. Definitely more reliable due to its farther distance and better accuracy than the switch shots. This is probably one of my favorite of the smaller the single-fire pistols, though I still prefer the Maverick over this because the Maverick has the revolving barrels. Second to last item in this video is the Triad EX3, again another plunger firing barrel, but it has 3 barrels. It's kind of interesting because if you loaded all 3 barrels, it kind of acted like a mini revolver. Using this cool T-bar handle, it could pop out, fire, and you don't even have to reload the barrels. If all 3 have darts in them, you can just go boom, 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 and then reload. Interestingly enough, the handle part is open, and if you pull the trigger, you actually see this part, that orange part of the exposed handle, pop out when you pull the trigger. Just to show you there. That's kind of weird. It's a weird part of the design. Some people refer to this as just a separate gun, though most people view it as an upgrade from the Jolt, which is basically the same firing mechanism and design as the Triad, except it only had one of these barrels. So this is basically a direct upgrade, though the Triad I believe cost me about $8 and the Jolt costs about $2 or $3 at Target. The Jolt and the Triad have both received a number of recolors, and despite the fact that it doesn't really have any storage, I think it's a good sidearm or like last resort pistol. So if you have big pockets like on a vest or a backpack or something, you being able to pull it out and have it as a last resort gun in a Nerf war is pretty cool. Because it also fires the streamlined elite darts, you can actually get some pretty good distance on it, though because of the size of the iron sights, you either have to hold it really weird or have really good long distance aim if you want to be able to get a long distance shot off. But that being said, it is fairly accurate for being such a small gun, and even though it has kind of a weird system for the plunger, because the plunger's here, it's not bad, and considering the low price, is definitely worth the money. The last end strike piece I have is actually not even a gun, it's an Enforce weapon, and that is the Claw Hatchet. The Claw Hatchet is the only non-gun Nerf thing I own, and it's actually really cool. It's designed to be a stopping weapon, supposedly, for blocking blades, and it has a cool little bit of a hook on it, so if you get it at just the right angle, you can grab someone's blade from blocking and twist it out of their hand. Though I've never seen anyone actually do that. It actually has 2 cool handles, the one being your traditional axe handle for and striking. And second being a secondary handle, which you could use either just for carrying or for blocking, or even if you just want to get a little bit more of a, a little bit more maneuverability on your twist. For some reason, it has this kind of serrated back, though. Other than like scratching your neck, I really don't see what benefit that has. It's made of the same material as the darts, and you can see it's a little squishy, and both handles are very comfortable, though you're not going to need both handles. I have seen a couple people throw them, because as you can see, it is basically a tomahawk, and you can almost see kind of a bird-like pattern. You see like the bird eye here, and kind of some feathers in the back, and a curved beak kind of thing. It's kind of bird-like, which, makes sense for a tomahawk. And, throwing it like that, you can actually get a pretty good spin on it. On good throws, I've gotten about 30 to 50 feet. I'm bad at judging distance, but yeah, I mean, I've gotten some good distance on it, and it's very light. Weighs about a pound. I didn't want a sword, but this is definitely worth getting, and it's it was really cheap. Also, I've had it since 2009 or 2010, I believe, and it's held up that long. So yeah, it's a reliable piece. Not the best if you want to go out in a melee battle, but hey, it's good if you want to have kind of a backup last resort, weapon as you're going down. Now, I know, to wrap it up, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, Meta, you have a lot of pistols and kind of sidearm weapons, and that's kind of true. I kind of specialize myself as being someone who has more with a more compact weapon style. I never really was into the big rifles or the snipers or the shotgun style weapons. The only real exception to that is my barrel break, which is, yes, a shotgun, but it's kind of a more compact shotgun. It was never really my style to have these big weapons, and so I kind of pride myself on being this smaller weapons specialist, having basically all sidearms. Though, in that end, I am able to, to share with people playing with me if they want to be able to have smaller sidearms too. I don't have a very big arsenal. In fact, I know several people who have more guns than me, but I wanted to be able to share what I have with you because, who doesn't like Nerf guns? They're fun. I actually do plan on in the future getting one of probably getting either the Rebel bow or getting the Zombie Strike bow, because I really like the looks of the bows, and I kind of want to be able to have something else. So I'll make a video when I get that. Until next time, I'm MetaGrossFreak, and if you want to see more stuff like this, please like or subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.